We are continuing to refine our presentation of grammar related to the particular verse that we're studying on any given day. In order to make that transition from becoming only Hebrew readers, which is a great achievement, but also becoming Hebrew translators. And the way we're starting that process is to understand how to isolate out the portions of the words in the verse that we can look up in a dictionary. And we're focusing right now on understanding how a Hebrew verb is constructed and how we describe a Hebrew verb, and then giving you some conjugations of that verb which relate to the verse we're studying with. And today we're going to look at the Hebrew verb mut, mem, shuluk tav. Let's review how we describe a Hebrew verb. We describe it in terms of the first position, the second position, and the third position. And we relate it to a paradigm or a generic example, pei ayin lamed. So the letter that's in the first position is called the pei hapoal. So in this case, the pei hapoal is mem. The ayin hapoal, the ayin of the Hebrew root that we're dealing with is the shuluk, or the vav. And the lamed hapoal is the tav. So let's review that. Trevor, what is the pei hapoal of the verb that we're studying? Which letter?
Mem.
Right. Sammy, what is the ayin hapoal of the verb we're studying?
I'm sorry?
What is the ayin hapoal of our verb?
On the furu?
Right, the shuluk, exactly right.
Yeah,
And
shuluk.
Agus, what is the lamed hapoal of our verb?
That.
Very good, tet. This methodology, this way of describing our verb, pei hapoal, ayin hapoal, tav hapoal, it gives us an opportunity to describe classes or categories of Hebrew roots. There are a whole bunch of Hebrew roots that have the shuluk in the middle, and we call those roots ayin vav roots because they relate to the ayin hapoal being the vav, okay? So there are a whole bunch of Hebrew verbs that have this vav in the middle. We have mut, which means to die. We have roots, which means to run. We have shuv, which means to return. And it goes on and on. And once you learn the conjugation of one of those ayin vav verbs, you know the conjugation of all of the ayin vav verbs. Okay, so maybe there are a few little variations, but you know for the most part how those ayin vav verbs work. So that's why there's some advantage to this method of describing verbs using the paradigm, so that we have the ayin vav group of Hebrew verbs or thrishim. So let's see how the mut plays out in conjugation. And we're going to focus on the past tense because the verse that we're looking at in Samuel gives us a past tense conjugation of mut. So here are the past tense forms. Gideon, could you teach us the past tense forms kindly? Simply read the Hebrew and their translate. Oh, Giddy has left the meeting. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay, August, could you give us the Hebrew and the translations of the conjugations of mut?
Mut, to die. Met, he died. Met,
I'm sorry.
she died. metu. They dead. They dead.
They died.
They dead. Okay. Is this word is similar with my language? Mean maut or mati mean died, but in my language no personal changing pronoun and no past tense future tense.
Wow, really? What is the name of your language, by the way?
Indonesia.
They just call it Indonesian. That's the name of
Yes,
the language.
maut or mati mean
That
die.
that is incredible. That's really crazy. What is the word for mother in Indonesian?
Mother ibu, but father is bapa, more like baba.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right, Sammy, could you read the verse or the fragment of the verse that has our verb in it?
Starting from the cursor.
From viha.
Okay. Vecha anashim asher lo metu.
Right. And do you see the verb in question? Do you see our verb in this line?
Yes. Metu is they die.
Right. So, for me, this is very exciting that we're now translating a little bit. And it is a good foundation. We're just getting a start on it. But the people who did not die, the ha'anashim, we know that vav is and, the ha means the, and enosh means a person, anashim means people. Because, so we know that the plural, im, is a masculine plural. The ha'anashim, and the people, asher, which, lo, what does lo mean?
It's a negation.
Like no.
Right.
Negation.
Right. So v'ha'anashim asher lo metu, and the people who did not die. So we're going to see that phrase as we move over into our verse, and we'll connect with that phrase as we all take turns practicing the verse. So let's go over to the verse now, which is nice and gigantic already for us. And let's enjoy the map. Of course, it will help if I share. The cities that are listed over here in Philistia are cities that were excavated and have been connected through archaeological science to the ancient cities that are referred to in the book of Samuel. So Ashdod and Ashkelon are now archaeological sites, and I believe they are also sites where people currently reside. I think they are also modern cities. And Ekron and Gat. These are all cities where there are archaeological excavations that connect us back to the time of King David, basically. And this area, do you know what the name of this territory is now in modern geography? Do you know what this area is called, Sammy?
Israel.
Actually, this is, I'm
Oh, the
sorry,
Palestine.
we call this the Gaza Strip.
Oh,
And for a while it was actually being settled by Israel, and they had a huge greenhouse, a huge hothouse industry. They were exporting flowers all over the world from hothouses in the Gaza Strip. But as part of a negotiation with the Arabs, we withdrew from that Gaza Strip, and now it's strictly Arab territory. called Gaza Strip. But anyway, let's all take turns now reading. And Sammy, if you want to start off, it would be great.
Yeah. והאנשים אשר לא מתו
Very nice.
הוכו.
So this one doesn't have any vowels. It's ba'afelim.
וחפים, וחפים.
Ba'afe, three open syllables, then a closed syllable. Ba'afelim.
בחפלים. בסחורים.
That's a tet, bathorim.
בתחורים.
Nice. Continue.
ותהל שבת.
There you go. Good. Shavat.
שבת ההיר. השמיים.
Beautiful. And I note that you have a very nice Hebrew accent, a very Israeli sounding Hebrew accent. If you join us one time in the second class, sometimes Nancy from South Africa joins us, and she has this incredible natural Israeli accent also. So you'll fit right in Israel if you decide to visit there or move there. But anyway,
I'll say.
V'ha'anashim asher lo metu, and the people who did not die, huku ba'afelim batchorim, they were smitten with hemorrhoids. I don't think you saw, we had a picture from a previous verse of some artist did a rendition, Trevor, of all these poor Philistines sitting around suffering from hemorrhoids.
Really? I missed that.
Yeah. Vata al Shabbat Ha'ir, and the cry of the city rose up Hashemayim, to heaven. It is an interesting study, maybe for another class. But there is generally some sort of an ironic connection between the punishment that God gives out and the transgression. I don't know if in your studies, Trevor, you've noted this.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay. For example, when the Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, were wandering through the desert, and they were complaining that they wanted more meat. And so God gave them so much meat that it was like spilling out of their mouths. And there are other instances which are a little more subtle. For example, Miriam's sin, related somehow to speaking bad speech. We call it lashon hara, evil speech, against somebody. I don't remember the details, but her punishment was a leprosy of the skin. And the rabbis draw connections. They make connections between the transgression and the punishment. I'm not doing a very good job of making those connections, but I have a feeling that this. Trevor, do you know of any examples?
It was Moses' wife, and she didn't like her because she was a foreigner.
Do you recall why the punishment was the leprosy?
I think it was basically because it was a racist remark she made, and therefore she suffered in her own skin.
That sounds likely.